Hello everybody, Bets Golden here. Today I have a fun little shaker card that I want to make with you, and I have a couple little tips and tricks that might help you as you make yours that won't necessarily break the bank, because sometimes shaker cards can get a little bit pricey and hard to find things to provide that ability for them to shake, and I'm going to talk to you about that. I am using the brand new Rita Barakat Sunset stamp. This is so cute. This is through Technique Junkies, and it's just these two girlfriends looking out over the sunset. So I thought it would be fun to make a shaker card with the back kind of looking like a sunset, the colors at least. So I'm going to be using some paint by Plaid, the folk art line, the color shift, and this is yellow flash. Glazed carrots, this is the just regular acrylic, and then the other one from the color shift, and this one is pink flash. So first thing I need to do is I need to paint my background so that it can dry as I do my stamps. As I do my stamping. The size that I'm making is a 5x7, and I've already gone ahead and cut the base down, creased the middle, but I haven't folded it yet. The reason why I haven't folded it yet is because when you are assembling a card, if you work on it folded up and as it will be handed, like it would be handed to your recipient, it can cause things to be crooked and not lay flat. So it's always better to fold it very, very last. And for this project, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a swipe technique. I have a piece of cardboard that I cut from a box that I had. And so that's going to be used to do this. It just has to be a scrap piece of paper, or cardstock, I should say. Something firm. I can talk. And I'm starting, as you can see, the paint off of my center crease point because I'm going to swipe it through. But I need it to be... I can't start it. I want to make sure I have good coverage, and so I need to start it off of the crease line. So it's going to be on the back of the card a little bit. And so I'm just going to lay this paint out. And I probably am applying a little bit too much, but that's okay. All right. So I'm just going to take the edge of my cardboard and I'm going to swipe it down. I'm left-handed, so I'm gonna have to play with this a little bit to make sure I get it going. You could use an old gift card that's been used or something with a credit card consistency. I'm just using the cardboard because it's what I had on hand. And you just want to swipe it through like so. And then I'm going to take and do it. I flipped it over because I kind of want the yellow to go through again, but I noticed that I have a little bit of this beautiful pink that came through. So that's going to be pretty, swiping through again. And I'm just going to swipe it through one more time with what's left on my cardboard, which is not much, but that's okay. I can lay some more out. Bottom portion is going to be covered by my shaker, so I'm not real concerned if it's absolutely perfect. I just thought that this would be a fun way to get some color back there. And if I wanted it not to be so if I wanted it to not be so perfectly uniform, I could swivel it up a little bit. I can do designs through it, and I might go through and swipe it again. I'll have to see. So yeah, I'm gonna go through and just kind of swipe it on through once again, and just you know, just to get some color down. And I really think I like that. All right, So you can hang on to this, let it dry, use it for another project, another slip, or you can throw it away. I mean, it's cardboard, right? So I'm going to set this aside to dry, and we're going to stamp our image, and then we will assemble our card. But I don't know if you can tell, there is some shimmer to this because of that color shift. So it's super pretty. All right, so I'm going to lay this down and set this aside. So for my stamped image, I am going to use the Distress Oxide in Black Soot because I want to go ahead and emboss this because of how I'm going to shade it in. And I'm using the Tonic Studio platform. I really like this because you can flip it. Like right now I have it set for the clear, but I don't need it to be the clear. I actually need it to be the rubber side. So I flip it over so that the rubber is reading correctly to me, and now this will stamp perfectly. I like using a stamp press because if for some reason the stamped image doesn't go on clear, I can stamp it several times and it'll line up each time absolutely perfect. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And then the magnets, I just put some washi tape around them. This was actually recommended by the Hedgehog Hollow, and that way when they click together like they just did, it's easy to pull apart. And the reason why I'm using the Distress Oxide on this is because it really does emboss really nicely. It does a nice clean image. I can emboss it and it does a nice job. Pretty good, pretty clean, but I want to go through just one more time and stamp it twice. And I think I like it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just emboss this with some embossing powder. And the reason why I'm embossing my image is because I'm a sloppy colorer. And when I put my color down, I kind of want it to be in the lines, although I'm going to be using distress markers, which have more of a watercolor effect to them. So it will be, you know, not crisp as if I were to use my Copics. And when you lay this out, it's going to go on, and you're going to notice that it's kind of matte. And then as I heat set it and it embosses, you'll notice that it'll get shiny. So all right, so there we go. It's all embossed, and you can tell because it's no longer that coated look to it. It actually is shiny. Since I am working on a glass mat, I am going to go ahead and just put another sheet of paper on top because I don't want my color to seep back up into my image in the wrong spot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a rough shade in with my color. And then I'm going to go back through with a wet paintbrush and pull it out. This was the milled lavender. And I'm going to paint both of their pants or skirts, whatever it is they're wearing, a brushed corduroy. And again, I'm not going for perfection because I am going to go ahead and pull this color out with a paintbrush. I'm going to make one of their shirts seedless preserve. And I actually need to go up through her neckline and color this milled lavender again. And then I'm going to make her shirt picked raspberry. And my thought is, with the embossed portion, that does raise the images a little bit, so when I do lay down a little bit of water on this, it's not going to necessarily leak everywhere. It should roughly stay in its designated spot. And I need to do the sun. So for that, I'm going to do mustard seed. Now we're going to do the hair. So on my little gal right here, I'm going to do her hair in walnut stain. And I'm going to do her hair in hickory smoke. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and just take a brush with some water and kind of paint and pull that color out. And I'm so tempted to take my little squirt and just squirt it, but I won't do that because I don't know what it will do. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull in a paintbrush and get this started. So I'm going to spray my water off to the side right here, make a little puddle, and then I'm just gonna take my brush and dip it in my puddle to wet it, and I'm just softening up these lines so that they appear to be more of a watercolor approach to this image. Cute. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and just heat set this a little bit so that I can cut it out. So my image is all colored in and cut. I did go ahead and use an X-Acto knife on the glass mat to cut the little pieces out. What's nice also about having the image embossed is it does allow a little bit of a guide, so I'm not going to overcut with my X-Acto knife like that can happen when you're using a glass mat. Is the knife can sometimes get away with you because the surface is so slick, but I like using a glass mat to use my X-Acto knife on better than a like a rubber mat, because the rubber mat, it doesn't move as freely and as smooth, and the images aren't cut as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just assemble this card from here. So here is my card base. It's fairly dry. I did get a little bit of that background paper right here, so I just kind of want to clean that up. And what we're going to do is, this is what is going to be like, it's going to blow your mind, is you are going to take the foam sheets that you can find in the craft section of the kids area at your scrapbooking store or hobby store or craft store or wherever. That's going to be used as our shaker. That's going to be used as the thing that allows our little goodies inside to move around. It's cheap. I actually found this set at the dollar store for, there's 20 of them in about a 6 by 12 size. for $1, for $1. So you can't beat that. That's so much cheaper than that double-sided adhesive foam tape. And all you're going to use is just some liquid adhesive to get this down. And then we're going to put our little bits in it that will shake, add the transparency, and then I'll show you what we'll do from there. So as you can tell, my circle is not perfect. And that's okay, because it's going to get hidden by my final over sheet that I'm going to put over this. And if I wasn't going to mail this out, I probably would use 2 foam sheets on top of each other just to give it a little bit more depth. However, since this is going in the mail, I want it to be relatively flat, so I am just going to use the 1 sheet. Now, if you want, I'm going to use some glitter and some things in my center. And if you want it to not cling to your transparency, you would go ahead and add, or you'd run some wax paper over your transparency, and that will keep it, or a dryer sheet, that will keep your glitter and things sticking to it. I happen to kind of like that look, so I'm not going to do that for this card. Then I'm going to put some red velvet glitter in here too. And then we're going to go ahead and put our transparency on top. My transparency has some gold little dots on it. And I'm going to use liquid adhesive again to adhere this. All right, it's looking pretty bad right now, but that's okay because we still have to put on our final sheet that will go over it, and it will hide all the yuckies and it will look beautiful. But I want to let this set up for just a minute because I need to add my girls, and I'm gonna add my girls under my final piece. My final piece is white because there's so much going on in the center. There's so much color that I just wanted to use some white space to not overwhelm my recipient and make it look a little bit cleaner. I don't do clean though usually, so it may blow up in my face. So for this, I'm going to put my girls down before I put my final piece on. And I'm going to use some adhesive again on these little girls. And finally, I'm going to lay down my top piece on top like so, and it's going to cover everything up. Actually, I want to make them go up a little bit higher. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and lay this out. And again, I'm going to use a liquid adhesive on it just so I can slide it around. I apologize if you can hear the computer game in the background. Everybody just came home. It's that time, and it's summer. All right, so I'm gonna line this up. Make sure I have this nice and lined up so that everything is hiding when I go ahead and fold the card, and it looks like it is. Cute. And then I want to add a sentiment on the bottom. I'm going to use my friend from this Millie and June fancy pants set that I've had in my stash forever. Now I think we can fold this card and just see what this finished product looks like. Isn't that so cute? and it shakes. You can see all those pretty bits in there moving around. So that's how you can make a shaker card using things that are easier to find, I think, in your craft store than the foam tape. And goodness knows if you can score it like I did at the dollar store, you're really in luck. All right, until next time, happy crafting.